Hello, thank you for tuning in. In today's video, I'm going to talk about using plants as decor. And I don't mean just having plants for themselves. I'm talking about using plants specifically as items of decor in your home. And this is going to come in really handy if you have more of a traditional style home or a minimalist style home, or you really like your home or a particular room to be a little bit more curated, a little bit more formal, and a little bit more purposeful. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. And by the way, this is for, I'm going to say, an average sized room. If you have a smaller space, you can still use this formula, but your plants will just need to be more in scale. They'll need to be a little smaller. If you have a large space, you can still use this formula. Your scale will need to be a little bit bigger. If the space is very large, that's going to be kind of another video. We'll work on that another time. This is for kind of, an average sized room. So we're going to start with a base of 3 things. A larger plant, probably one that stands on the floor would be ideal. A medium-sized plant, and a third plant element that's going to be smaller, it's going to be flexible, it's going to be interchangeable. You can also think about this as high, medium, and low. Your large plant and your medium plant are going to be easy care plants that will live in the light that you have, the green thumb or not that you have in your situation in your room. Your third element is going to be more flexible, and this element can be a garden. It can be a flower arrangement. It could even just be a vase with some stems of leaves in it. This third element is where you're going to bring in your color. You're going to bring in the pop. You're going to bring in that succulent garden that you really, really want to live in the house, but that doesn't really want to live in the house. Now, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can make your third element another simple kind of easy care plant that you can just set and not forget, but that requires minimal care. Okay, so let's talk about this base. Your 2 larger plants are going to be easy care. This is going to be a Dracaena for your larger plant. They stand tall, they're very easy to care for, they tolerate all kinds of light levels. Your mid-sized plant could be an Aglaonema or a Chinese evergreen. It could also be some kind of a Dracaena. They come in so many shapes and sizes, the Dracaena family, and they're pretty much all easy to care for. And the reason I want these to be easy care is this is your base. You're going to set them, they're going to be easy for you to care for, and the fuss that you do is going to be limited to your one beautiful element that you're going to change in and out. Okay, let's talk about your third element, your little focal point. Here's where you get to play, because we're going to accept the fact, well, actually, let me rephrase that. Either we put easy care plants in this third spot too, that doesn't mean that it's not beautiful, or we just accept the fact that we're going to rotate in and out. But that rotate in and out gives you so much flexibility and fun. You could do a beautiful floral arrangement here. If you have a more minimalist palette, you could do something like this. I love this. This is one of my favorite things ever. I just love a clear vase. You put some rocks in the bottom, and then just any kind of stems. I just cut these out of the landscaping. I don't know why, but I just love this. I love it for, in a certain decor. It works really well. You could do orchids. Orchids are actually really long lasting. And you actually could, if you wanted to, you could do orchids as your medium element. and then something else as your small element. You can group them if you've got the space for it, like 3 orchids, like a little orchid garden would be so gorgeous and long lasting. Tell you something about choosing orchids. See how these flowers and buds are? Open flowers, about half of them, some fairly mature looking buds here, and then some smaller immature looking buds. This is a great stage to buy your orchids in because the large flowers and the mature buds will probably do their thing even if the light conditions aren't ideal. Little tiny buds often don't develop well in a lower light condition, so just something to think about. You could also do a garden here. Now this is one of my favorite things. We're gonna do lots of gardens on this channel, by the way. So I'm just gonna do a super quick, just how to. You can go buy a garden if you want to. You can go buy, there's lots of gardens that are pre-made. Or you just get a beautiful container and you're going to put a liner in it. This liner is not big enough, okay? I need the next biggest size, but you guys, I know you're smart enough and you can figure this out. You're gonna put something in the bottom of your container to support your liner. You know, if there's no support for it, you put your plants in and it's bending and it's moving and it's cracking and leaking, so we don't want that. So something to support, and then just, you don't even have to plant it. In fact, I don't even think I would. You know, I'm gonna take this out, okay? Like, we're gonna wink, wink, like that's the proper size container. And just put what you want in here. Look at this gorgeous thing. Oh, succulents, so beautiful. They're so visually interesting. And a full succulent garden would be gorgeous in a more modern style home. Maybe you want to do ferns and begonias for a more traditional style home. Just whatever you want. We're going to do whatever we want in this spot, and we're not going to worry too much about it. We want it to last a while, but if it doesn't last, you know, forever, we're going to be okay with it. This is a little tall, but you get the idea. You can just make a beautiful mixed garden for your third and smaller piece. This, another little powerhouse plant. I say kalanchoe, some people say kalanchoe. This is not open yet, but all these little buds will open and bloom. So long lasting, such a humble little plant that hardly asks for anything and just lasts and is so beautiful and comes in lots of beautiful colors, including white if that's what you're after. All right, now where are we going to put these plants? We're going to space them proportionally in the room in kind of an offset triangular kind of place. In other words, you're just going to distribute them. We're not going to put them all in one corner. We're not going to put them all up against one wall. We're going to have one in a corner, maybe one near the opposite corner, and then your smaller focal piece I like to put on a lower table. I want to talk a little bit about scale here too. Your larger plant should be not at the top of your ceiling, okay? It should be about 2/3 or 3/5 of the way to your ceiling. We want to put our plants in a place where they can breathe a little bit, where there's some room a little bit, some visual space around them. We don't want to cram them in a corner or have them be dragging against the ceiling. Now, are there 1,000 ways that you could do this? No, there are infinite ways that you could place plants in your home, but I'm going to stick to kind of an easy formula that you can start with. So that's the formula. A high, a medium, and a low, and you're going to position them evenly distributed around the room. Not exactly like, we're not going to go corner, 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 or corner, wall, wall. We're going to go corner, near the wall, maybe somewhere in the middle of the room. I like to get that third thing more toward the middle so that it feels a little bit more balanced, a little bit more professional. Let's talk about light. We can't talk about plants without talking about light. If you do have a window that gets bright natural light, that is so ideal. That's the ideal place for a plant. When I say bright light, I mean it's nice and bright there. This is a perfect window. The sun does not come directly through, and if it does, I can adjust these blinds. So it's not blazing hot right on the plant through the window, it's a bright area. If you have that kind of light, your choice of plant is going to be more expansive. You're going to have many more choices of plants to put there. The other beautiful thing about light through a window is that you get light on the leaves. You get light shining through leaves. You get some shadow play on the floor and on the walls. And these are elements that just elevate a space. They bring life into a space. So if you do have that, that's a great place to start, a great place to put your first plant. Or some other ways to look at this is to balance your furniture. Maybe you have some heavy furniture on one side of the room. Well, then place your large plant on the opposite side of the room to kind of balance that weight. And then your medium plant where you could use a little bit more medium-sized visual weight, and then your focal plant in some kind of focal space in the room. Plant or garden or vase arrangement or orchid, whatever it is, whatever your beauty factor is. One of the most important questions you can ask yourself is, do I like it? Ask yourself, do I like this placement? People underestimate, do I like it? If you do, great. If you don't like it, well, try another arrangement. Okay, number 3, select your containers purposefully. Your containers need to look like your decor, or they need to go with the decor of that room. If you have a very traditional, formal room, then maybe have some lovely ceramic pieces, glazed ceramic, bowls, whatever it is that goes with your room. And your containers, they can be a focal point in themselves, like some Oriental style containers can be very ornate. Or if you want to keep it simple and you're not sure, just choose something that goes but kind of blends. It's not drawing a lot of attention. When you're using plants as decor, they're not necessarily each standing out individually, similar to the other items in your room. Like you wouldn't want your couch to stand out, your coffee table to stand out, your side chairs to stand out, your end tables to stand out. It just becomes too much. So think about that when you're choosing your containers. One of my favorite places to buy containers is thrift shops. Thrift shops have so many containers. You don't have to limit yourself to thrift shops if you don't want to, but I like to always mention the thrift store option. And part of the reason for that is, one, there's just a lot of great containers there, and why spend a lot of money if you don't have to? But two, plants and flowers is accessible. It's accessible really no matter what your budget is. You can create beautiful spaces, and I want that for everyone. So I want to kind of cover the different choices here. The other thing that I want to talk about that is an absolute must is water management. When you're bringing plants and flowers into your home, especially in a formal setting where you might be placing things on really nice furniture or nice floors, or really no matter what, we need to manage water. So here's what I want you to always have. I want you to always have a plastic liner, one that you've been certain is not going to leak, in the bottom of your plants. This is a shallow one. Here's a deeper one. I actually like to use the deeper ones, even if I think I'm not going to water that much, just because it gives me a little extra insurance there that I'm not going to overflow the liner. But in any case, a good liner, even if it's a ceramic pot that's glazed and is supposed to be waterproof. A way that you can test a ceramic container or a ceramic vase, maybe you're using a ceramic vase as a flower arrangement for your third element. Make sure it's completely dry on the sides, put some water in it to whatever level you think you would be using it, and set it on a dry counter on a dry piece of paper towel. Let it sit there for 6 hours. If you pick it up and it's absolutely dry, that paper towel is absolutely dry, then okay, you might be fine. I use a liner anyway. Why? Because the minerals out of the water end up depositing on the inside of my container. And I mean, it's just up to you if you care about that or not. You just need to make sure that nothing is going to leak on your furniture or your floors. And on that note, especially for the floor plants, if you have a large plant on a floor, I suggest lifting that pot up with decorative pot feet, or there are little rings that you can get that lift that plant just slightly up off the floor. There are cork mats that you can buy. Just something so that you have a barrier between the bottom of that pot and your floor. I don't know how many people came into the flower shop in the nursery that I worked at where they had a large plant that didn't move. Maybe, I mean, sometimes those plants don't move for 2 years. And when they moved it, their floor was ruined underneath, either because it leaked or because there was a little bit of condensation that they didn't know was building up under there and it ruined their floors. So take your water management seriously. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Tune in if you enjoy this kind of thing. I'm going to be doing all kinds of flower and plant videos. I want to bring the joy of plants and flowers and natural materials to everyone. Please let me know if you have any questions and comments or ideas for future videos in the comment section below. I hope this was helpful and I hope you have a beautiful day.